Good morning. Welcome to Truth to Power. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin. And this has been a real um, poignant week for a lot of us. Just wanted to express my deepest sympathies and condolences to the family of the late Judge Virgil C. Smith. And I know I attended the homegoing service for him um, this past Wednesday, and it was, very bittersweet, especially in terms of say about all of his former colleagues from the House as well as the judicial system that came to pay their respects and to give the family of Virgil Smith their deepest condolences. Sometimes it's sad because you see at a lot of the homegoings for people, you knew they were great, but you didn't realize just the magnitude of their greatness. And when I was hearing some of the tributes from a lot of the speakers that came from Detroit Chief of Police Todd Bettison, the Black Caucus Chair Virgie Rollins, judges from Cornelia Stevens, Debbie Ford, to McConaughey, who's the chief of justice over there at the 36th Court, District Court, and a host of his fraternity brothers from the fraternity Kappa Alpha Psi, and they do what's called an Omega ceremony, and they came out strong to lay to rest their fallen colleague and their fallen fraternity brother. We go through that every time that we lose a fraternity brother. As many of you know, I'm in the fraternity Alpha Phi Alpha, and I know we've had that ceremony for a variety of our fraternity brothers that have fallen. And it was just a very, very poignant moment just seeing all of the Kappas and seeing all of his Sands. Sands are the people that pledged with him. And then I didn't realize, too, that from my understanding, I believe he was a lead dog on his line up at Michigan State. And I was a lead dog on my line up at Michigan State as well. So we had a bond, between us like that, because the lead dog is the person that carries the rest of his sands, which are the people that pledged with him, across the burning sands. And we're expected to take the most wood, which is when you get paddled or punished. We're expected to be the very, I'm not going to say very smart, but we were very ingenious when it came down to doing some things and getting some things across that some of our other brothers might not have had the poise and the stamina to be able to do. So we had to do a lot more than just what we were capable of doing. So it just was a very, very just and seeing a lot of people that I went to Michigan State with that were there, as well. So I just want to express again my deepest sympathies and condolences to the Smith family, to his son, Virgil, who's also a colleague of mine with the Michigan Democratic Party Black Caucus. And those of you that have relatives that may be in need of medical assistance, please do whatever you can to get them to their checkups, get them to take whatever tests that they need to get taken, and just to be supportive, of them. So you never know what somebody may be going through. So reach out, touch, tell, and make sure that you let somebody know you are only a phone call or a short drive, or even if it's a long drive, you're just a few miles away. So again, just wanted to say that. And we just recently, I announced last week that I was moderating a candidate forum out in the city of Westland, and we had a very nice turnout, and we really appreciated all of the candidates that were running for city council in the city of Westland to come out, and appreciated all of the people that came out that were kind of like some on the fence of, because we know the absentee ballots have gone out and some people have voted already. But those that are still on the fence about who they want to support, it was good for them to get an opportunity to meet some of the candidates that were there and to find out more about what their platform is. Next week, we're going to be in the city of Livonia, and this is through Western Wayne County NAACP. So we'll be out in Livonia next Thursday, and I'll give you more details. You can go on my Facebook page, and I'll put the flyer up on my Facebook page so you can get more details about where and the time that's going to be as well too. But today we want to talk a little bit about a continuance of the political arena that's going on, not just here in the city of Detroit, but in other areas around Detroit. My special guest today is no stranger to Truth to Power, and his name is Joe Person. And Joe wears many, many hats. I don't know why he didn't wear his Stetson today, but he, wears it proudly and wears it magnificently. And then also we should be joined also by Ishmael Terry of All for One, and we're going to pretty much like do a deep dive into the political arena. We know that the primary is coming up next month on the 5th, if I'm not mistaken. Is it correct?
Yes.
The 5th of August.
The 5th of August.
And those of you who haven't voted already will get an opportunity to cast your ballot on that date. And we talked about last week, and we always talk about how important the primary is. So we encourage people, don't wait for the general election in November to vote. Support your candidates now, because your candidates are going to need that support now rather than later, because they may not make it out of the primary to be on the ballot in November. So you definitely want to make certain that you go and you support your candidates now. And then also too, as Joe will attest to, there's also going to be there are issues on ballots as well that people need to understand and know about. I know in Livonia, when we do the forum next week, I know there's some issues that are going to be seeking either a yay or a nay vote on their ballot. So it's not just the candidates, but it's also the issues. As Joe will tell, as Ishmael will tell, there have been a lot of issues that we have supported or not supported in the past when it comes down to abortion rights, when it comes down to reparations, when it comes down to a variety of issues that are also millages, when it comes down to taxation. So make certain that you just don't go to support just your candidate, but also read the ballots thoroughly. Some ballots may have a reverse side, so make sure you flip the ballots over. But as we always say, do your research before the election. But today, and also later this morning, we're going to have a couple of young people, our future, our legacy, that's going to be coming on. And these are individuals that receive scholarships through Western Wayne County NAACP. And they're going to talk about their ambition in terms of, say, the schools that they would like to further attend for their educational prowess. And they're also going to talk in terms of, say, too, about their ambition for what they want to do. So we may have a gentleman that may be on the show with us this morning that might want to be the next Joe Person, or may want to be the next Ishmael Terry. So we'll never know who might be, and standing in wait, for that opportunity. But without further ado, I just want to bring my colleague Joe Person on the show with us right now. Joe, how's it going?
It's going well. And the first thing I want to say that, folks, whatever I say, it has nothing to do with this radio station, my thoughts, my opinion, and the truth ain't pretty, but it's still the truth.
Well, that's what people are asked to do on this show and other shows at WHBR, is to convey their truths,
Right.
which becomes other people's power. And that's the important part. But Joe, what's on your mind? I mean, I know that, Oakland County has got an important election coming up, next month, as well as the one in September. I'm sorry, in November. So looking at the races that are coming up, in terms of, say, as far as in August and then also in November, what's on your mind? What's on your horizon as to what do you see? What do you hear on the street? What do you hear from the polls? Or what are you hearing?
I want to look at that Pontiac mayor election. The people that are in that race is like 9 people. 2 of them are write-ins. I think they were put in just to make sure some of the people at the top, get in.
Why do they do that? Let's dig a little
Delve
deeper into
into
that.
that.
Right.
Here's the thing, folks. The more people on the ballot, that's the smaller the number. Word on the street is 1,500 signatures. You got 9 people. 1,500 votes. If you get 1,500 votes or more, you may be in that top tier number 1 or 2. Some of the folks on there, they know they're going to get 400 or 500. Somebody else is going to get 300. Somebody else is going to get 400. Somebody's going to get 1,000. But if somebody gets 1,500 or more, they could be the number 1 vote getter. Remember, only the 2 that get the most votes get to run in November. Everybody else, okay, take their political plan and go home to the next race. That's and the folks at the top. For example, you got Mike McGinnis, a Kermit Williams, Gil Garrett, Alexandra Riley, and I mean we go on, and that's just the 4 of the top names. But they still have, like I said, 5 other people that are running. And the reason your question you asked, why do people do the write-ins? A lot of times that's somebody that's at the top that's put those people in to just splinter the votes, to splinter them. If I get 300 here and that person gets 200 or 300 here, that means that's 400 or 500 that somebody at the top is not going to get. And my 2,000 or 1,500 votes could get me, on the ballot for the general election.
Well, it's so interesting because there's a lot of people, just like when we had the congressional in the 13th, and there were like about 11, 12 candidates that were running. And some people attested to the fact that they thought that some people ran to take votes away from others that were running. And I know when you have a real crowded field, that's what happens, whether or not somebody's intentionally doing it or not, that it's still, they may be what we call spoilers in the sense of the top vote getters, just like right now in this mayoral election here in Detroit. There's a lot of people that have pretty much like put people into the position that probably will ascend to being on the ballot in November. And then there are people that are saying that they may not have as great of a chance to win the election in August, but they may then go and put their support to one of the top vote getters and to help to kind of, get them a win in November. But the biggest thing that people just have to realize is in some cases, politics can be interesting in the sense that some people have a lot of ill feeling towards folks that did not support them, and some people have ill feeling towards the people that said they were going to support them, and then in the the scheme of things, in the grand scheme of things, when they didn't win, then they find out a lot of the supporters that they thought they were going to get did not come out and support them in the election. So that's the hard thing with some people. But it looks like we're joined, Joe, by Ishmael. Ishmael, are you on the line with us?
I am. Thank you for inviting me.
Good morning, and definitely want to go and send our best wishes and get well wishes to your mother, Dorothy Terry.
Thank you.
But Ishmael, we were just, talking about the upcoming, election in a couple of weeks now. But I was just getting some thoughts from Joe, and Joe was talking about the mayoral election in the city of Pontiac and with all of the candidates that are running. But let me just get some of your thoughts real quick, Ishmael, about the mayoral election in the city of Detroit. What's your thoughts, and what are you hearing on the street in terms of, say, about the people that are running and trying to get our support for that seat?
Yeah, well, you have at least about 40% of the population that's aligned with what's going on as far as voting and as far as being a part of the structure here. But we're looking at numbers showing that more than probably 30% of the population is going to show up at the poll. So you're looking at probably about 22 to 30,000 people is going to join in on this mayoral election, which is a dismal number, to say the least.
Well, Ishmael, let me ask you this question, Ishmael. I'm gonna ask Joe the same thing. Does it seem like it's better to have more people come to the polls to vote as opposed to doing it in the absentee ballot or the early voting? What do you think?
Joe, you want to answer that, or you want me to?
You lead in, and I'll bring up the rear.
Okay, so I think right now it would be better if they get more active with the early voting, and then let that travel to the poll.
Ishmael, you're going to have to come a little bit closer to the phone because we can barely hear you in some cases.
I was saying that we should be more proactive towards the early voting and the absentee, and then I think that we're going to be dropping down more off in the polls. I think people are more skeptical about going to the polls because they don't know the interaction of what's going to take place at the polls, because they have everybody understanding that it might be some physical confrontations and others that might prevent them from going to vote.
Joe?
Okay, that's ever since COVID, Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris won the presidency because of the absentee vote. I remember the postmaster general at my post office calling saying, Joe, tell the people in Southfield for this election, don't mail their ballots, take them up to City Hall and give them to the city clerk. So people have got into the pattern of let's vote early, let's vote more, let's vote quicker. As Ishmael has alluded to, it's going to be a low volume of people coming out to vote. That's why I don't like off-year elections. I think that we should have them in the even years when the governor runs as well as the president. Move all of the elections to then, because more people actually come out. Somebody could possibly win, let's say, the mayoral election in Detroit with all of the people running. Somebody could win that with just 20%, 25% of the vote. But people are going to mail in early voting. if I'm a candidate, I'm going to work that. I'm going to work early voting and the absentee vote. If you're good at what you do, you generally do 3 mailings: one to introduce yourself, one to ask for your vote, and one to remind the people at the general election that you're in the election if you're one of the people that survived the primary.
So Ishmael, what's your from listening to the people that are coming back and telling you in terms, say that there might be 30% that are still going to come out on election day? What are they saying in terms of their support? What are they leaning, or who are they leaning towards?
Oh, you have a 3 race. You have for the people, you got Solomon Kinlock and Todd Perkins. That's what a lot of the citizens in the city of Detroit is discussing: Todd Perkins and Solomon Kinlock. And then for the established, it's Mary Sheffield. So those are the top 3 that everyone in that I've spoken to, from District 7 to District 5, District 6, 3, and 2, and 1. That's where the 3 most candidates that everybody is looking for now. Chantel Jenkins is like right on the heel of Todd Perkins.
So you're hearing then that it's pretty much like the 3 top vote getters will probably be Sheffield, Todd Perkins, and Reverend Kinlock.
Correct.
Within right on the cusp of that will then be Jenkins right after that.
Yeah, it'll be Chantel right on, like 1.5 votes away from being that 3rd person.
So what do you think, Ishmael, that the reason why the voters are really coming out? What's the main issues that they're most concerned about?
Public safety, and these are actually the people who are talking about pushing their parents to go and vote are the 15 to 17 year olds, are pushing their parents to go out and vote because their focus is on public safety.
Okay.
That's the main hot topic right now: public safety. A lot of the shooting, the violent crime activities that's going around in neighborhoods. Even the young people are recognizing it and saying they want to change that narrative. But then also they want to know how they can get access to the money so they can open up a small business and things of that nature. Are they concerned about do these candidates concern themselves about being able to get services, resources that actually extend their quality of life? So you got a lot of that is going on as well. So it's remarkable to see that the 15 to 17-year-olds are more involved in policy making than their parents.
You said they're more involved in policy making, or more interested in that?
They're more involved than their parents are.
Okay. What's your thoughts on that, Joe?
I agree with that. One of the major problems in Oakland County, I'm gonna talk about Southfield, is that we've seen an uptick in some crime in Southfield, certain areas where a lot of the crime is down in Shiawassee, 8 Mile, in that area. We've had some
Shiawassee, that's like Telegraph.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yes, it cuts across Telegraph and everything. It runs from 8 Mile all the way across to Middle Belt. A lot of, we're having some crime there. So a lot of people are concerned about crime. And the thing is that where the seniors are more concerned about us putting a Republican trying to run for city clerk. They're not going to see their rights taken away because, as the guy that's in the White House said, elect me one more time as president and you won't have to worry about ever voting again. So we have to make sure we protect the rights of everybody in terms of the elections. I still go back to the young folk. They are concerned about their student loans. they are concerned about entrepreneurship. I had a gentleman that the other day, I was at a concert passing literature out, and he was saying, I went and got this master's degree, but can't get a job. Or the job that I want doesn't pay me nowhere near what I'm really worth.
And see, that's one thing that I think I want to get into when we come back from our break. Ishmael, I want, stay on Ishmael, because I want to talk about the job creation and the next mayor of the city of Detroit, as well as for Southfield, looking in terms, say, in other areas, in Oakland County, Pontiac, for example, about attracting businesses to come to Detroit, to Southfield, to Pontiac, and other cities as well. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with Truth to Power. I'm your host. I've got Ishmael Terry on the phone, and I've got Joe Person here in the studio, and we look forward to continuing our conversation with you very shortly.
Feel good about your future with tuition-free programs at Wayne County Community College District. Whether you want to be in healthcare, computer science, the culinary arts, digital media, or robotics and automation for the next generation of vehicles, WCCCD has you covered. A full range of programs to achieve your goals, fit your schedule, and give you all the support you need to be successful. All of it tuition-free. Now there's something to feel good about. Register today at wcccd.edu.
Muscles, joints, or feet tired, achy, or distressed? Tried everything? Ringmaster Rubbing Oil is a vintage topical pain reliever, trusted for over 70 years, with a rich formula for the treatment of stubborn aches and pains. Packaged in a glass bottle for purity, our liquid can also be used in warm water for foot soaks and compresses. A little goes a long way. Try our time-tested formula, available in several sizes.
Make a donation to WHBR-TV and receive 2 2-ounce bottles of Ringmaster Rubbing Oil for $25. Call 313-868-6612.
Every Monday through Friday from 12 noon to 3 p.m., it's the Tavis Smiley Show, distributed by R.J. Watkins Studios.
Clean up on aisle 5. Sounds like my life right now. Just one big mess.
What's going on?
It's my property taxes.
What?
I am behind, and I am so worried that I'm going to lose my house. I can pay some of it, but I can't pay it all at once.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm Eric Sabri, the Wayne County Treasurer. The last thing I want is for anyone to lose their property to tax foreclosure. We have assistance programs to help.
For more information, go to treasurer.waynecounty.com.
We're here to help.
Block time is available. Get yours. Call 313-868-6612. That's 313-868-6612. Executive producer R.J. Watkins. Program director Henry Tyler. 107.5 FM. WGPR HD3. RadioWeCanSee.com.
And we are back, and this is a special edition of Truth to Power with my studio guest, Mr. Joe Person, who very few of you don't know who he is, especially in the Oakland County area. And then also on the phone, we're also joined by Ishmael Terry of All for One. And before we went to break, we were talking about job creation, talking about employment opportunities. And I know that Joe, Ishmael, there's a lot of concern about the unemployment rate, in the respective cities, like in Southfield, Pontiac, Detroit. But that's going to be something that's really important for the next mayor to be able to draw businesses into those respective cities. What's your thoughts on it?
Definitely. One of the problems too, I'm finding out young people say the reason that they don't work in Oakland County or actually in Detroit or in the state of Michigan is because the insurance is so high. A lot of young people don't drive cars. You know, they'll get in an Uber or some kind of other service to go to work. You know, we don't have mass transportation here. So a lot of students, I'm here in University of Michigan, Wayne County, and some other colleges and universities, the kids are talking about once they graduate, they leave away from Michigan because of the insurance is so high, and that when you pay the kind of monies that people are paying for the insurance, for the cars, everything's just too damn high. Simple as that. So, you know, the industry in terms of construction, while there's some construction here, you know, construction is slowed down because of COVID and is just slowly coming back. They have programs now where they're trying to uplift people that are from the factories because some factories are closing. They're trying to get into other jobs, training programs. So we got to see what really happens. I just think that young people do things a different way, and they like entrepreneurship. I always tell people, if you stand on the corner and sell pencils 10 hours a day, 365 days a year, you're going to make some money. Whereas if you go work for somebody, you're helping somebody else get rich, not yourself. And that's what young people are talking about, entrepreneurship. I understand in Detroit, Wayne State and them are starting big programs about entrepreneurship. University of Michigan. I mean, we can go on and on. Your alma mater, Michigan State University, is talking about entrepreneurship. They weren't talking about that 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. That's what everybody's talking about because everybody wants to be a millionaire.
Yeah, and that's something too that, and I'll ask that to our young people when they come on, you know, in our next segment about them having aspirations to want to stay in Michigan versus to leave and go off to California, Texas,
and
Georgia, Florida, right, like that part. But Ishmael, so you're listening to the people on the street, listening to the people that may be in the suites. Primarily, what are you looking at in terms of, say, what do you think that the next mayor should have? Give me a template of what do you think the next mayor of Detroit should have. And there's also, too, Ishmael, let's look at some of the races as far as, say, the local races when you're talking about city council as well. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, okay, so in going back on that, most of, if not all, the candidates should be speaking about how to deal with the $33 million deficit that's going to come to the city of Detroit, right? Because we know that we received more than $84 million in funding from Biden at the time when he was president during the infrastructure funding that Duggan and this current city council had to sit on. But at that time, too, we were robbing Peter to pay Paul. So we were taking money from the retirees, and we were then excavating towards funding and revenue police, fire, and safety, knowing that down the road, kicking the can down the road, we were going to have to pay them back. So now, basically, we're going to have to do just that in 2026. So now we're saying, now we're going to be in a hole. How do this affect us financially? Well, what comes first, downtown or neighborhoods, right? We're going right back into that conversation that we had in 2012, 2013. So,
yeah, back when Ishmael, when everybody was talking about the separation of the two cities, where
correct.
People were talking about there was the downtown, like you said, and about the neighborhoods. And
correct.
Do you think that gap has kind of widened or stayed the same, or do you think it's kind of shortened a little bit?
I believe that it's, well, I would say that we kind of narrowed it up by using the main street, neighborhood initiative that MEDC was focused on to give resources to local municipalities to be able to clean up the sidewalks, put trees and things of that nature. I mean, did it really resolve the issue of business districts being created in the neighborhoods? No. But what it did was it gave opportunities for investors to look more at neighborhoods like a Dexter and Linwood, like a Mack and Bewick, a Charlevoix, a Jefferson and Charmer. It gave them Esper. It gave Springwood in Southwest. It gave them all opportunities for investors to go into those hard-hit neighborhoods and then make individual investors or angel investors an opportunity to grow that neighborhood of their own, right? And then looking at brownfield tax abatement. These are all what the mayoral candidates should be talking about. Right?
Now, when you say brownfield tax abatement, kind of go into detail. Explain what that means.
So that means that the city of Detroit and residents of the city of Detroit will give a tax abatement towards up-and-coming investors to build new retail, build new restaurants, upscale dining. It gives all of that abatement so then they don't have to pay for the next 25 to 30 years of taxes towards that growth of that business in the community. And so because of that, of course, the city of Detroit will be on the hook. That means the resident, that means the prior business owners who do pay into taxes into the city, they will be on the hook to keep those investment opportunities growing in those neighborhoods. But because of the lackluster of those opportunities being placed in those neighborhoods, like a Greenfield, McNichols, or we call 6 Mile or 7 Mile, right? Because you don't have those targets, you have less opportunity for investments to come in, and then you focus in more 30-mile radius and inside the downtown area. But those also stimulates from the neighborhood strategic fund that comes from the state and that actually takes funding from the federal government to go into the neighborhood strategic funds, which comes out of MEDC, which is the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, which helps along with incubators such as Detroit Economic Growth Corporation, Ned Stabler and all of them at Tech Town. It allows them to grow incubators and then utilize those incubators to get closer to the financial institutions like Chase and Comerica Bank and Flagstar and PNC to build those financial institutions in those communities, those distressed neighborhoods, and start building from there. But then once you start looking at now that you're going to be going into a deficit next year, you're going to be drawing that money from that well to be able to keep the downtown city vibrant, right? So which mayor is going to look at how can I split the bucks between neighborhoods and downtown, right? Are they doing a lot more conversation of that? No. What they're discussing is audits. Yes, you can do an audit all day, a financial audit on what each department is doing. But those take 3 to 6 months for those things to obtain to see how those departments are running. So by that time period, you're losing more than you're winning. So if the candidates can stop talking about audit, and start looking at how do the structurally sound city of Detroit fits the narrative of each borough area. And if you can't talk like that and can show how that plan can work, then basically you just got people running.
Okay. Joe, give me a template for what do you think in terms of, say, the next mayor of either Pontiac or Southfield needs to adhere to?
They need to adhere to the people. What I'm hearing, Ishmael's, it sounds like the same thing, the same business as usual. Mm-hmm. We take care of certain parts of the city. We don't take care of other wards or districts and different things. So in Southfield and in Pontiac, Pontiac got $38 million from the Biden administration, and they're doing some great things. They've taken down the Phoenix Center, but the problem I see in terms of the construction, who has the jobs, they don't look like us. City's predominantly black, and that's my problem. Nobody wants to talk about any of that. We bring people in, we say we're going to do some things, but like you say, when you go downtown in Detroit, what do you see down there? Our police are down there, our firemen are down there. They're getting great services, but then when you go 3 blocks away from downtown, just Jefferson, you'll see the plight in those areas. Pontiac, they're trying to come back. You know, it seems to me they've never recovered from when they had the the bus depot that was burned down in the 70s. Those folks have never recovered from that. And now that they have some money, the decisions that they're making, I don't necessarily agree with them. For example, they put an M1 racing track in the city of Pontiac. And the city, some of the people on the city council voted for the decibels, how loud the decibels could be. Somebody voted 90 decibels. That is truly loud in the neighborhood after 8, 9 o'clock at night. They're having problems. People are not getting the jobs that they thought they were going to get. So now the mayor and them, like I said, the immediate past soon to be Tim Grimer, who was the mayor, you know, he's running for the 10th District U.S. Congress. So the 3 or 4...
That's currently held by John James.
That's currently held by John James. So the people that are running for the mayorship, I don't see them necessarily talking about problems. They talk about the same problems that they've been having, such as employment, construction, crime, you know, all of those types of things. But I don't really hear a plan that tells us exactly what you're going to do for the citizens of Pontiac. And in Southfield, we have the same argument about we don't have a swimming pool. You know, they want us to go over to Oak Park on 6:30 to 8:30 on Saturday and Sunday nights to be able to swim free in the pool. Well, that's 6:30 to 8:30 at night. We need to have our own pool. The city council has just passed a bill where we're going to buy our own all-around aquatic center that's going to be open all year round at a cost of $22 million. But they've had this money sitting there for a while. It's been 3 years since our pool closed. And we could go on and on about the services we get and services that we don't get. Our taxes are so daggone high. You know, we have some of the highest taxes in the state. Something's wrong with that. So I think the mayor, whoever wins the election in November, is going to have to come back to the table and ask, we sold, Northland. We didn't make a lot of money. We're seeing that the investor that owns the Northland, he's already built some apartments there, and they're going to cost $1,600. The average person in Southfield doesn't make that kind of money to get an apartment. And here's the thing: if you're going to get an apartment for $1,600, clean up your credit. The same credit that's going to get you in that apartment will probably get you in a house. Be a home buyer instead of apartment dweller.
So Ishmael, when we look at the Detroit now, let's look at some of the city council races. What are you hearing about some of the different city council races? I know that everybody is not going to have a primary. There are some city council races where they're running unopposed, so they'll go on to the general election. But you know, I know there's a couple of them that, like 7, 5, that have, you know, multiple people running in those different districts, and then also for the at-large city council seat.
Yeah. So in District 7, of course, you're going to have a primary because you have at least about 5 to 7 people running for city council. You got Denzel McCampbell, Karen Winsett, Regina Ross. I forgot the rest of them. But so you're gonna Bobby Johnson. You're gonna have have a primary. The two out of that going to be Denzel McCampbell, and in likelihood, it's going to be a tie between Karen Whitsett as well as Regina Ross.
And see, Karen Whitsett is currently the state representative.
Correct.
And then also the reason why that seat does not have an incumbent.
Correct, because Fred Durhall III is running for mayor.
Right, okay.
So that's why you're going to have a primary there. Another primary you're going to have as far as actually Coleman Young II and James Harris, who is picking up some speed.
And James Harris is the current fire chief, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the chief of the fire department.
Okay.
So you're going to have a primary between them. Mary Waters is going to be challenged, but I don't think she's going to have a primary. She's going to be okay. The District 6, which is the Southwest Detroit, that's going to have a primary with Tyrone Carter, who's the current state representative and the current incumbent of City Council in District 6.
Is Gabrielle Santiago, isn't that correct?
Santiago.
Okay.
Correct. So you're going to have that going on. James Tate is unopposed. He's not going to have anyone run against him.
And that's District 1.
Yep. District 2 is you got, I think that's Roy McAllister and Angela Callaway. You're going to have a primary.
And Callaway is she's the current city council.
She is the current city council member. So you're going to have that there.
And then also one other person that's running in that district too is Helena Scott, who's the current state rep.
So that's why that primary, so that primary is going to be very interesting, right? That's going to be a toss-up. That really will be.
And Roy McAllister was the previous city councilman
and then he
in that district.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So they got a love loss. They're throwing stones and bricks at each other over there. every time I go to their meetings, they throwing haymakers at each other.
Okay. Let's look at District 3.
Unopposed.
And that's Scott Benson, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And now District 4.
Oh, there's going to be a small primary. It's not going to be a large one. But that one is going to be about 2%, 2 to 4%.
And that's Letitia Johnson is currently in that position.
Correct.
Okay. So let's go into District 5 then.
Unopposed.
District 5?
Right now, everybody, that is a small turnout. Y'all about to see a horrible turnout there in that race. Like, you can win about 5 to 10% of the vote.
Well, let me delve deeper into District 5. District 5 is currently, that's the district that Mary Sheffield is the incumbent in that district. Now, Mary Sheffield, as you said before about what's going on with Fred Durhall III, Mary Sheffield has to vacate that seat because she's running for the mayor of the city of Detroit.
Correct.
So now you have probably about 4 or 5 people that are running for that vacant seat that Mary Sheffield has vacated, correct?
Correct. But that also determines on what Albert Tinsley Talabi is going to do, Lamar Lemon and his crew is going to do at the East Side Slate. Like, all of them are playing around with this seat, basically. And, it's going to be a real low turnout in that race. There's no name sticking out in that race.
Well,
but it's going to be a toss-up.
Well, I don't know. I guess the thing is that there's a variety of different people that are running, in that race. I know that one of the persons that was running that race, she was expected to have been on the ballot, but some things happened where this person wasn't able to get on the ballot. I think the same thing happened with another candidate that was running in District 7 that was expected to be on the ballot and wasn't able to be on the ballot. So, you know, the main thing that we encourage everybody to do is to make sure that you do what you need to do to ensure that your name is going to be on the ballot. So if that means your financials, if that means your signatures, they need to be done.
You know what the problem is that when they go out to go do those petition signatures, right, they will hire people or they have friends and family, and they go knocking on the doors, and then they go to the markets and things of that nature, and the party stores, and then they get names and addresses and things of that nature. That's invalid. So when they got to turn them in, they don't have enough signatures. So they have to do the due diligence to make sure that those signatures are matched towards people who actually live in the community. They have to do more of door knocking. That's another key factor that has been erased in the fabric of politics in the city of Detroit. A lot of, if not all candidates in this current stage don't do enough door knocking. And so because of that, that eliminates a lot of them from ever running in the seat. Because they won't knock on doors. They would come periodically and then throw yard signs out and hope that people will remember.
Okay. Ishmael, we got a few minutes left. I want to get Joe's take on this. So, Joe, I know you are a proponent of knocking on doors and making certain that people don't just live off of just putting out yard signs and putting out the little placards in their store windows and business windows.
Everything that he said is right. I tell folks, you have to get on the ballot. And here's the thing about the ballot. If they would just read the instructions on the ballot, it tells you exactly what you need to do. The problem with people going to certain party stores, liquor stores, gas stations, is that the people that are using a lot of those places don't necessarily live right there in that neighborhood. There are people that work live someplace else, but they work there in the neighborhood. So, and then they don't ask the right question. The question should be, are you a registered voter in the city of Detroit? Are you a registered voter in the city of Southfield? Are you, that's what you should be asking. And if the answer is no, you move on to the next person. What they ask is, are you a registered voter in that city? But the person hears, I'm a registered voter. So they sign the petition. And that's what hurts a lot of these folks a lot of time. But here's the other thing. Start early and early and get your signatures. And if you need 100 signatures, 200, get 500.
That's exactly correct. Ishmael, give your contact information. I know for All for One in Pleasant Heights, give your contact information real quick because we're about to wrap this segment up.
Yes, sir. They can go to allforOneDetroit.org. We take donations. We are a 501c3 charitable organization. For the last 27 years, we have provided all kinds of services from housing to educational training programming. You name it, we've done it in the last 27 years. So they can either contact our office at 313-378-8474. I will say this to your listening audience. If you have your ballot, you should have it. If you're having a problem understanding it, give me a call at 313-378-8474. We can talk about the proposal P. We can talk about all of those things that's on your ballot.
Thank you, Ishmael. And Joe, give contact information for the organizations that you are either president of or that you're involved in.
Well, I'm going to just deal with the Southfield Lathrop Village Democratic Club because right now we're in the fight for the city clerk's office. And that is, you can reach me at personjs@yahoo.com. Our address is Post Office Box 3532, Southfield, Michigan 48037. And you can reach us at 248-470-3370. Thank you.
Thank you. Want to thank you, Joe, for being on the show with us today. Want to thank you, Ishmael, for being on the show with us today. And again, I get well wishes to Dorothy Terry as well. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with some young people that are going to talk about their career aspirations and the schools that they choose to go to based on their interests. Stay tuned.
I have a 17-year-old son with autism who was diagnosed at around the age of 2 years old. My experience with the walks just have changed my life, and I've met some very dear friends at the walk, and I've just always felt this sense of celebration. Fundraising for Autism Speaks is important because that's where we're going to get the answers. The research, the advocacy, all of the changes that we need to make in the society to help those with autism. It's imperative that we do all that we can to fundraise.
Are you ready to step into the most unforgettable hour of your life? Good, cause you are getting ready to experience the captivating, inspirational, timeless Dr. Claudine Jackson.
Join us this season for unforgettable guests, unforgettable stories, and unforgettable moments. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this
Dr. Claudine Jackson.
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Mattered. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
Watkins Broadcasting is going worldwide. Now you can watch Detroit's own WHPR on your TV from anywhere in the world. No matter where you are, you can stay in the know with WHPR TV and Roku. You can get your easy-to-install Roku box from wherever you shop for your entertainment gear. Once your Roku box is connected to your TV and internet, go to the channel store on the home menu of the Roku box. Enter WHPR TV in the search engine and add it to your channels. That's it. That's all you need to get the best in entertainment, news, and talk, no matter where you are. Roku brings all of your favorites to your TV. Netflix, Hulu Plus, Crackle, HBO Go, and now WHPR TV, Detroit Live.
Tired of seeing young black men shooting at each other in this community, in this nation. I don't understand it. I grew up in a time when people wore white robes and they shot at black people. And now we see young black men wearing black hoodies shooting at black men and doing a much more effective job than the Klan ever thought about doing. I'm sick of it. Of course, the only thing I can do is shout it from here. No one seems to listen.
We're listening. You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV, Detroit Live. It's up to us to make a difference.
The show that you know and love is moving to a new day, place, and time. Packed with real stories and issues, On the Floor is now airing every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With the capable and incomparable host, Dr. Tara Defoe, dig into real advice and receive restoration for your soul. It's a new time and place, so get ready to be informed and get motivated. On the Floor with Dr. Tara Defoe, every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Block time is available. Get yours. Call 313-868-6612. That's 313-868-6612. Executive producer R.J. Watkins. Program director Henry Tyler. 107.5 FM. WGPR HD3. RadioWeCanSee.com.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
All right, and welcome, and we are back. And this is a very special edition of Truth to Power. I want to thank Joe Person and Ishmael Terry for the first hour that we had with you today. And now we have the second hour, and we are joined by several young people in this studio. And we're also joined by the mentor for the young people that's here in the studio with us today, and that is Dr. Fleta Fleming. Dr. Fleming, welcome to Truth to Power today.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be here.
And just want to give a little bit about your background, Dr. Fleming, and then to introduce our special guest here, and then tell a little bit about what led our special guest to be here with us today.
Okay. Well, for my personal background, I'm hail from the great city of Inkster, Inktown, and I actually grew up in the Westwood School District, graduated from Robichaud High School, but I will admit that my best career entity was at Inkster High School. I served there as the Dean of Students for almost 15 years, and it was truly the time of my life. So go Inkster Vikings. While I was there, I was the Dean of Students, and I actually had the privilege of starting the high school academy and to do all the special programs for the students, scholarships, baccalaureate, awards programs, things of that nature. And when the schools unfortunately closed, God put it on my heart to start an organization that would still allow me to do the things for kids in Inkster, in and around Inkster, that I had been doing when the schools were open. Mm-hmm. So that's when I started my nonprofit, Equipped. And I have the privilege of not only serving as the executive director of Equipped, but I'm also the scholarship chair for the NAACP Western Wayne County branch. And that's how I had the pleasure and the privilege to meet these phenomenal, dynamic young men who we'll be featuring today.
Okay, and now without further ado, let you introduce this young man that's with us today.
Okay, so our first featured guest is Corey Johnson. Corey hails from Westland, Michigan. He was a 2023 graduate of John Glenn High School, and I'm going to let Corey proceed and tell us about himself in his own words.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Fleming. Couldn't ask for a better intro. As Dr. Fleming said, my name is Corey Johnson. I graduated John Glenn High School, valedictorian. And
what's that mean when you say valedictorian?
Valedictorian, number one, baby. Number one in the class.
Okay.
Yep. And so currently I'm going to the University of Southern California. I'm going to be going into my junior year as a pre-law legal studies major with 2 minors, one in cinematic arts and one in biopharmaceutical business. So I do a bit of everything. Not necessarily an intersection between the two, or the 3 rather, but I just find them all super interesting. My main concern is law and actually trying to provide more resource and outreach. My start in law actually happened quite young. So when I was in about 5th or 6th grade, I saw the world around me. And at the time, it was me, my mom, my 3 older siblings. I'm the youngest of 4. And in that environment, we struggled quite a bit. And the one thing that I realized that I had control over within my environment was my education. So I spent a lot of my time firstly just trying to exceed in every way I could within that space, because I wanted to set myself up for the best success possible. I didn't start getting into law in particular until around 7th grade or so, when unfortunately my family had actually been a victim of a wrongful conviction. And so that really motivated me to not only help represent underrepresented individuals and communities, but to also make sure that that type of situation doesn't happen to my family, myself, the people I care about. And so now we're here, and I have enjoyed every single step of the way. The move from California has been really interesting, actually. You know, people always comment about the weather, and it's true. The weather's amazing there. Earthquakes, that's the one bad part, you know.
And then you got the forest fires. And
oh my gosh, yeah. The Palisades fire that happened just last year, exactly. So in my journey, yeah, I've done a bunch at USC. I first came in, again, with legal studies. I'm part of their inaugural class. It's a class of 30. It's expanded quite a bit since then. I believe it's about 150 people now. But starting off as one of 30 was definitely jarring as an experience. USC is a very private school. It's very top percent. And so me coming from my background, going into, you know, this environment where I have people who are the sons and daughters of CEOs and stuff like that. Coming from my background, I really didn't feel as though I had belonged at first in many ways. And I felt as though, oh my gosh, Corey, you're way over your head. Like, you know, you shouldn't be in this environment. But here I am. I'm exceeding. I'm thriving. I've been doing quite a lot in regards to just club opportunities as well as internships. I'm a part of quite a few clubs. So there's the Legal Studies Student Association. That's specific to my major. We mainly just do a lot of stuff in regards to like legal resources for students, stuff like that. I'm also the internal program director for the pre-law fraternity that's on campus, Phi Alpha Delta. So shout out Pad.
Shout out.
I'm really looking forward to that. I'm starting that position this upcoming semester. In that role, I essentially just plan a bunch of events on campus for the betterment and resource management of our legal community. In the past, that's mainly been just small little get-togethers and stuff on campus. I'm really trying to expand it this year to actually include a lot more of PAD's network. I don't think that's something that we do a whole lot, so just trying to really upskill the entire operation, really. So big dreams, big ambitions. I'm also a residential assistant, so essentially what that means is I essentially act as a mentor for incoming freshman students who are getting adjusted into USC's culture, life, and I'm essentially there for them as a resource if they have any, you know, concerns about food security, concerns about Title IX management, anything of that kind of sort. I plan a lot of events for that too. I do a lot of event
that's
planning.
so interesting. I was an RA as well.
Oh,
up
really?
in Michigan State.
Yeah.
So I know all about what you're saying
so
when
you
you're saying about an
understand
RA
that, yeah.
and what they would have
Exactly.
to do. Because I had 60 young men on my floor.
Oh, really?
That,
Wow,
you know,
60 is
and
a
it
lot.
was a quiet floor
Yeah.
as well. So we had to keep all of the noise
God
and everything
bless,
down.
'cause sometimes
on that.
those rooms are
It
not
can
quiet,
be really
yeah.
chaotic sometimes.
It can be.
But Dr. Fleming, I just want to ask you, what were some of the qualifications that you look for your scholarship recipients?
Oh, that's very interesting. So the qualifications are different for equipped and NAACP. So for equipped, the qualifications are very minimized because our goal is to provide scholarships for students who probably wouldn't qualify for the higher level ones. So you only have to have a 2.5 grade point average, and you don't have to be at the top of your class, but you do have to provide proof that you're going to college. Our philosophy is if a college will accept you, we'll help you to go. So you have to have proof of an college acceptance, and to do a 500-word essay that will motivate, challenge, and inspire underclassmen to do well in high school so that they're eligible for college. So that's the Equipped Scholarship. NAACP Scholarship, and the Equipped Scholarship is primarily for kids that have an Inkster connection.
Okay.
Or somewhere in the surrounding cities. In AACP, on the other hand, while we do have the same 2.5 grade point average requirement, it's open to a larger spectrum of kids because the NAACP Western Wayne County branch, shout out, has 24 cities that we service. So our scholarship is available to all students who either live in one of the cities or attend a school in one of the cities that we represent. And they also have to show proof of college acceptance and or enrollment, and they do a 500-word essay as well. But the topic for the essay is, if you were the national president of the NAACP, what would be your social justice items that you would actually try to implement programs to support and enhance?
And then give a shout out. Now, you just recently awarded 4 scholarships.
We recently awarded 2 $1,000 scholarships and 2 $500 scholarships to students on behalf of NAACP.
And you know we'd be remiss if we don't let you give the names of
Okay,
those
okay.
4 individuals.
Well-
I know there were twins, and then there was the other 2 that got the $1,000 scholarship.
Well, I'm just going to say parenthetically, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in detail because a student from that school happens to be here. But typically, there's a challenge getting applications for the scholarships. And I will have to give a shout out to River Rouge High School because they sent us 23 applications that were all complete and eligible. And so 3 of the 4 scholarships that we awarded this year went to students from River Rouge High School.
And you know I'm going to throw a shout out to my frat brother,
Okay.
Superintendent Coleman. I'm
He's
definitely
doing
going to
his
throw a
thing.
shout out to him.
Okay, give him a shout out because it's well deserved. Because he and his staff are very intentional about pouring into the students that they serve. And you know what? I'm going to add on to that shout out because one thing that really impressed me about Superintendent Coleman is that his own children attended schools in River Rouge where he is superintendent, and that is an anomaly. So that goes to show that he's so invested in the students in his district that his own kids attend those schools. And I'm like, that's huge. So having said that, Michaela Grant, who was the valedictorian for the class of 2025, was one of our $1,000 scholarship recipients, along with the twins. There were the McDowell twins, Memphis and McHale. They each received a $500 scholarship. And then we had another phenomenal young lady who has been a part of the NAACP since she was in elementary school, Priya Williams. She graduated from Summit High School, and she was also a $1,000 recipient.
And we got to give her mother a shout out too, because Jennifer would probably be remiss if we didn't give her a shout out.
She poured her life into her daughter, her girl wonder, as she calls her. And truly, you know, when parents devote their life to their children and make them their number one investment, you will get a Priya. You will get a National Honor Society president, a class president, a volleyball captain, all of those things that Priya was able to accomplish in high school. And she's actually going to go to Jackson State University. Shout out to HBCUs. Michaela is going to go to Oakland University, and the twins are both going to different colleges in Ohio. Triune, and I can't recall the name of the second college, but they're all doing well. But you know, what I'm most excited about for this year's scholarship recipients is that we had a scholarship reception, and of the 22 students who we have awarded scholarships to since 2019, 14 came back to the reception.
That's good.
And of those 14, 12 received their endowment. The NAACP scholarship supports our students through their 4 years of college. So if they got a $1,000 scholarship, well, every year that they're in college, they will continue to get $500. If they got a $500 scholarship, every year that they continue to be in college, they will get an additional $500. So I'm happy to report that Corey I have a check for $500 for you in my purse, sir. Having been one of our NAACP scholarship recipients as well as equipped. So he earned both scholarships coming out of college. So I'm very proud of all of our students because they are doing amazing things.
That is great. Well, Corey, let me ask you. So the future looks very, very great for you.
Thank you.
Let me ask this question. So 10 years from now, what would you like to be doing?
10 years from now, I see myself doing some type of criminal litigation in some sense. So whether that be actually either doing prosecution or defensive work, or whether that is simply just actually providing those resources out to people, is still up for debate. I'm still looking at a lot of my options. I'm someone who I really like to explore every facet of what it is that I'm into, and that includes the industry that I want to get into. So I've had the pleasure already of actually interning with the LA Superior Court in California as a small claims advisor. So in that role, I was able to help people with their civil suits that were less than $12,500. And a lot of that, yes, of course, was just like disputes like, oh, he hit my car, whatever. But so many of that was also such life-changing decisions. I had so many people who were suing their landlords because they had violated tenants' rights. I had so many people who were trying to get their insurance claims that couldn't. So that experience for me was extremely rewarding, and it actually reminded me of why I wanted to go to law get into law rather in the first place, is to help people. And so honestly, we'll see. I like the idea of entertainment law, for instance. I mean, that gets more into my film minor and stuff like that. I'm really into film. USC is an amazing cinema school, so might as well take advantage of that, right? But really, we'll see. We'll see where the next step takes us.
So let me ask this question then. I know I was talking with Joe and Ishmael about a lot of times people get their education in, here in Michigan, but then they take their aspirations to another state. Now I know you're out in California, but is that where you would like to reside at, or do you plan to come back here and practice law here in the state of Michigan?
So actually, Dr. Fleming and I were talking about that earlier on the car ride over, and it's still up in the air. I definitely do think I see myself more on the East Coast as I grow older and as I continue my education. I plan on going to law school over this side versus on the West.
What law schools are your top three?
Now, have you applied already to law school
No,
yet?
so I'm actually currently in the process of studying for my LSAT, so the exam, that lets you into law school. I'm really ahead of myself, actually, because I really don't have to start planning and figuring out what I want to do for that test. Really, you need about 5 months or so. I'm a year ahead.
Okay.
So I plan on taking it next June. So I'm trying to give myself as much time as possible. But my top three are the top three right now for law schools, just in general. So you have Harvard, Stanford, and Yale. So I think out of those three, I'm leaning more towards Yale or Harvard. But again, we'll see. I think it's more so about, the experience. I need to learn more about these schools. I'm also interested in UMich, UChicago, stuff like that. So I really haven't done a whole bunch of research on law schools yet, because for me, it's taking one step at a time. That's a lesson I've unfortunately had to learn the hard way, I feel like, this year. Because
you said UMich.
Yeah.
Referring to University of Michigan?
Yeah.
So that's the first time I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've not heard that
really?
before.
Never?
I usually hear U of M as opposed to UMich.
Really?
But maybe that's something that I need to kind of brush up on.
Hey, maybe I'm out of the, hip terms.
Well, that's probably what other students around the country may say. UMich, that may more,
I hear
more
him say
California.
both.
Okay.
I hear him say both, honestly. So, in a roundabout way of answering your question, potentially I might come back here to Michigan. I see myself more so, I really do like the big city vibe of USC is located directly in the heart of Los Angeles. So I really do enjoy the big city vibe. I'm thinking that a big portion of my life will be in New York.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Now, do you have aspirations? I mean, when you look at the Supreme Court justices, is that something that could be down the horizon for you?
So when it comes to the Supreme Court, I don't see myself as like a Supreme Court justice per se, but I definitely do see myself getting into policy at some point. I could go on a tangent about that forever, but I definitely do see myself working towards those aspirations, because so many of the goals that I hold dear to myself are, as we've talked about, again, changing how we currently view law, how we interact with it, and how it interacts with us, more importantly. And you do have the opportunity to do that as a lawyer, but you have a much higher chance of making impactful change as a politician. And so in that sense, I would like to be able to make some change. So whether that's in politics, whether that's on a court as a judge of some kind, that's absolutely the end goal. Yeah.
So, Corey, as I'm sitting here listening to you, I'm just thinking how an organization, particularly even on a national level, like the NAACP, could use someone like you on their team. So I'm wondering, would an internship with some of the lawyers, the litigants for NAACP, be something you might be interested in?
Absolutely.
Because they're on the East Coast as well, and the headquarters
if you're trying to hook me up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that definitely could be something that
I would absolutely love to do. Honestly, the NAACP is such a big reason as to why I want to get into criminal litigation and criminal advocacy as well. I follow very closely with the Justice Project and the Innocence Project rather. Sorry, not Justice Project. And so, I see constantly these people who have spent their entire lives, 20 plus years in prison, and then, you get them out of that situation. They're supposed to be reformed back into society in some way. How do you make that transition though? And I think that in a big way, law can really help that transition. Right now, actually, I'm currently about to go into a job interview next Thursday for a legal stenographer position. So that's like the people that do like the court recording. So hopefully that goes well. We'll see.
You got it. You got it.
But yeah, no, absolutely. Honestly, any real organization that helps out in some way with that advocacy. There's this law firm in Los Angeles called Bet Zedek, shout out. They do a lot of really good pro bono work for really any case. So I would love to potentially do something more pro bono as well, because at the end of the day, this is a passion that I have not out of money, but out of an inherent want to help
someone.
Exactly.
This has been such a great time. I wish we had more time to spend with you, and with Dr. Fleming. But I do want you to give your name so that people will remember who you are.
Well, thank you. So, again, my name is Corey Johnson. Thank you so much for having me on here today, Mr.
Thank you for being on the show.
It.
And you, I think your interview that you will have for that stenographer position, I think you're going to do phenomenal.
Oh, I hope so.
Because if you have the kind of rapport that you have with us today, and especially on camera today, which is not the easiest thing to do, you will ace the interview.
Well, thank you. That means a lot to me.
You're going to do a great job. Great having you on the show with us today. We look forward to having you come back again.
Oh, I'd love to.
Especially once you get that shingle and you put that shingle up on the wall. Dr. Fleming, thank you for all the great work that you've done with all the people that you've inspired throughout the years that you've been involved in the education, system. So again, we definitely would like to have you to come back again and showcase more of your scholarship recipients as well.
We've got 2 great scholars coming up.
Absolutely. So stay tuned. We've got 2 more that's coming up. So you've been watching Truth to Power, and we've got 2 more great scholarship recipients coming on once we come back from our break. Stay tuned.
Feel good about your future with tuition-free programs at Wayne County Community College District. Whether you want to be in healthcare, computer science, the culinary arts, digital media, or robotics and automation for the next generation of vehicles, WCCCD has you covered. A full range of programs to achieve your goals, fit your schedule, and give you all the support you need to be successful. All of it tuition-free. Now there's something to feel good about. Register today at wcccd.edu.
I'm Joel Hashim, running for mayor of Detroit. I will empower our community economically, educationally, and politically by building a diverse economy that will put money into our community. I have over 50 years domestic and international business experience. Detroit is a corporation that requires a leader with business solutions. We the people deserve to sit at the table of prosperity. Vote for me, JoelH4Mayor.com.
Paid for by the Joel Hashim Campaign.
Muscles, joints, or feet tired, achy, or distressed? Tried everything? Ringmaster Rubbing Oil is a vintage topical pain reliever, trusted for over 70 years, with a rich formula for the treatment of stubborn aches and pains. Packaged in a glass bottle for purity, our liquid can also be used in warm water for foot soaks and compresses. A little goes a long way. Try our time-tested formula, available in several sizes.
Make a donation to WHBR-TV and receive 2 2-ounce bottles of Ringmaster Rubbing Oil for $25. Call 313-868-6612.
Every Monday through Friday from 12 noon to 3 p.m., it's the Tavis Smiley Show, distributed by R.J. Watkins Studios.
Clean up on aisle 5. Sounds like my life right now. Just one big mess.
What's going on?
It's my property taxes.
What?
I am behind, and I am so worried that I'm going to lose my house. I can pay some of it, but I can't pay it all at once.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm Eric Sabri, the Wayne County Treasurer. The last thing I want is for anyone to lose their property to tax foreclosure. We have assistance programs to help.
For more information, go to treasurer.waynecounty.com.
We're here to help.
All media platforms are engaged. Copy.
Get ready to launch your show or product.
Periscope ready. We're 5x5 ready to launch. Copy that.
Trend worldwide across all major platforms.
Ignition. 3, 2, 1.
The world is waiting. Watkins Broadcasting. More than just TV.
Block time is available. Get yours. Call 313-868-6612. That's 313-868-6612. Executive producer R.J. Watkins. Program director Henry Tyler. 107.5 FM. WGPR HD3. RadioWeCanSee.com.
And we are back with 2 additional scholarship recipients that Dr. Fleming has awarded scholarships to. And we are joined now by Mr. Robert Dixon, as well as Mr. Wallace Bowie. Mr. Bowie, Mr. Dixon, thank you for coming on Truth to Power today.
Thank you for having us.
And just want to kind of go into a little bit of detail, tell a little bit about who you are, Mr. Dixon, where you went to high school at, where you're planning on going to college at, and why you're going to that particular college.
Okay, so how's everybody doing? My name is Robert Dixon. I am a fresh graduate of River Rouge High School. I graduated as the salutatorian, which is the second of my class behind Michaela Grant. But that's okay. Salutatorian.
Okay.
Yep. I will be attending Oakland University in the fall to study nursing and hopefully work on my way all the way up to being a nurse and anesthetist.
Okay. And Mr. Bowie.
Yes, hello. I'm a proud native of Romulus, Michigan.
I'm a graduate from Romulus High School, so I'm summa cum laude. I ranked number 8 in my class, and I was involved in the concert band, Bible Club, Boys and Girls Club, and the National Honor Society, as well as the Romulus Early College Program. So because I was in the early college program, I was able to get an associate's degree in general studies from Wayne County Community College District. I was the first in my family to get a diploma and an associate's degree at the age of 18 at the same time. So I'm very grateful for that. And I was able to get 60 college credits from that experience. And I decided to go to the University of Michigan Dearborn, so my classification was a junior. And I majored in African American Studies. I just found out that I was accepted into the Ann Arbor campus for U of M, so I'm very excited for that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How did that make you feel when you found out that you were accepted there?
It made me feel great. That's been a goal of mine, to get into that school.
So you're going to be a Wolverine.
Yes, go blue.
And Mr. Dixon, do you talk a little bit about your post-high school accomplishments?
I just graduated, so I haven't really did anything just yet. But while I was in high school, I did do a lot with NHS. I was actually the NHS president and student council treasurer. So those things kind of worked hand in hand almost. Where NHS, I was able to work with a couple people at my school because they had connections, and we actually do every Wednesday up at our elementary school. We do a food drive, so we help out the less fortunate every single Wednesday. Without a hitch, and it goes off perfectly. We've also set up things with little kids like literacy nights, reading nights, things of that nature. With student council, we've fundraised. We did so many fundraisers this year. It was just it was wild. We have a lot of people on student council, so it's a lot of different ideas coming, and I think we raised a good amount of money. We were able to do a decent amount of things with our class. I feel like our class was better than any other class. That's what people told us. And we definitely reap the benefits from it. I was also a part of academic games. My team personally, we won states, which was able to get us the nationals in Washington, D.C. And, we didn't do the best, but we got to nationals, right? And I feel like that's all that matters. So, yeah, it was a good time.
So now you're going to Oakland, correct? Yes. What made you pick Oakland?
So actually my first pick was UMich, right? But I didn't get in, so I had to think dang, what school do I want to go to next, right? And I was juggling with this idea for a minute, 2 months, and actually I got the opportunity to go tour Oakland. I've been hearing good things. I know a couple people that go there, so I said, why not? I went to the campus, and the people that I met there were great. I went around, I looked at the facilities they had. I was talking about their nursing program, and what's crazy is a lot of people that go to Oakland actually do nursing. So I was like, if there's a lot of people going to Oakland for nursing, something I want to do, what makes this so good? And I asked around, and people are gonna give me their real response. It wasn't no tour guide. I went around, I made sure I just asked random people, studying something like that, and they said it was a great school, a good time, way to connect. And yeah, I feel like it's a good area. I was told it was good. I seen it was good. So that's the school I'm going to. And hopefully it turns out great.
So what made you go into nursing? Now, you say you want to be a nursing anesthesiologist, correct?
Yeah.
What makes you want to go into that field?
So it was really nursing at first. It was just I want to be an RN. I just wanted to work in a hospital, help people out. And that just stemmed from people in my family, right? I got a couple nurses in my family. My mom's not a nurse, but she works in the healthcare type. So when I look at her and I just look at that, I'm like, I want to help people. Mm-hmm. And I never knew how I want to help people until I heard about what nurses do nowadays. A lot of times nowadays, nurses they don't even look at people as people. They look at them as, oh, this is just another number. This is a paycheck. And it's that's not what nursing is supposed to be about. Nursing is supposed to be you helping somebody to get better in whatever they're going through health-wise. And a lot of times now it's just not like that. I've seen a couple times with nurses, like my mom, unfortunately, I was supposed to have a real younger brother, but due to the nurse not really paying attention to her, the baby, my little brother, actually passed away in the womb.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so after that, I locked in. I was like, I wouldn't want that for anybody. and it happened to my mom, and it was really a tough time. But I was like, I need to become a nurse just so I can stop anything from happening like that in any way possible. I want to be some type of change, some type of difference in that field, because I feel like it's done lost its true meaning of being a nurse.
Now, when you complete your studies, do you plan to stay here in Michigan?
It definitely is a thing to think about. I do want to, at least after like a year, I want to become a travel nurse. So I want to go to different states, maybe even different countries, and just be around a different environment to get as much as I can out of every single position I can. So I know as much as I can when I go to become a nurse and a anesthesiologist, right? So maybe it's something I see. I know from what I've seen with the nurses here, they are kind of iffy. So if I do come back, I'm coming back for real, and I'm coming back to change something around Michigan. So I definitely do see myself coming back to Michigan, but it's up in the air. Never know.
Okay. And Wallace, now you want to go into African American studies.
Yes, that is my major.
What makes you want to major in that?
So I'm really interested in black churches, especially in Michigan, how they help their communities beyond worship services, Bible studies, revivals, things like that, the outreach ministries of them. And I feel like going into African American studies will allow me to go further in depth when it comes to finding out about black church history and traditions, and also just broaden my understanding of the black church, of the African American congregations. So that's pretty much why I was interested in African American studies.
So once you complete, then what do you want to do? You want to write a book on it, or what do you want to do?
So I would love to be a professor, a historian, an ecclesiologist. An ecclesiologist is someone who studies the Christian church, the history of it, its theology, and the architecture of it. And I'm also kind of looking to be an archivist. I've interned at the Motown Museum, at the Detroit Historical Museum. I love looking through archives and organizing it, cataloging things. And yes, I would love to write a book. I've actually been working on a project. It's called More Than Sunday, the social service initiatives of black churches in Detroit. So I've talked about churches such as Second Baptist Church, Hartford Memorial, Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church, King Solomon Baptist Church, Cathedral of Faith, looking at those congregations. And I did a historical map. It's an interactive map online. And I did presentations on it. I did one at Bethel AME Church in Detroit. And I also did one at the Detroit Historical Museum. The official historian of Detroit, Jamon Jordan, he came to my presentation, and Marsha Philpott did as well. She's the daughter of Jovan Battle, who was the first person to record Aretha Franklin. So just to hear them compliment my presentation and critique it made my day and encouraged me to keep going. So I would love to take that presentation and turn it into a book and a documentary in the future.
And that's a great something to get into, because all of those churches that you mentioned, I know the pastors and the bishops that are at those churches, and I visited probably the majority of the churches that you mentioned. Now, let me ask you this question. What do you think needs to be done? Because I've had shows in the past talking about, and I've had, pastors on the show with me before. What do you think needs to be done to get more young people into the churches now? That's going to be part of your book.
Yes, that is.
Because see, and I'm gonna give you a chance to kind of think about what your answer is going to be, because there's a lot of young people today that aren't as much into the church as they are in other things, and we need to get more. Just like when they're talking about bringing religion back into the schools. But what do you see in terms, say, from some of your peers, some of the people that you grew up with, and people that you go into school with? Do they attend church service? And if not, why not?
Oh, wow. So I'm noticing a difference, because I remember I was talking to my pastor about this a couple of years ago, and he was telling me that when he grew up in school, like it was weird if someone wasn't a Christian or who didn't go to church. And like, to me, that was weird for him to say that, because, I'm going to school now, and it's just like not everyone's Christian. Some people are atheists. Some people are of a different religion. So, yeah, I am noticing that a lot of people are not going with organized religion anymore. They aren't going to church, but then there's also a mix of people that are going to church, that are serving. And one of the things that I've done that kind of help people in my generation get to know Jesus, get to go to churches, I've done with is called Metaverse Ministry. So it's the gospel of Jesus Christ preached through games, or just the metaverse, computer-generated spaces. So I created a church called New Grace, and it's in both Minecraft and Roblox. Those are like sandbox video games where you can build whatever you want. And we have our own ministries. We have our own like clothing store with Black Christian creators, and it's like based off the Tulsa, the race massacre that happened there. So it's called New Grace Black Wall Streeters, and they can sell their clothing in a Christian environment. Or I have my own furniture lines that has like Black church furniture. So like that's one way that I've done what I've been trying to do to get people in my generation interested in the church, is bringing it to where they are, meeting them where they are. So video games, online platforms. So I think the church should definitely just listen to the youth. What is it that they want, and how can we reach them? That would be my thing. And I'm still trying to figure that out. I think a lot of people are.
So let me ask you this question too, because I know Dr. Fleming has had a real integral part in your studies.
Yes.
Give me the one word that you would use to best describe Dr. Fleming.
Mentor, for sure. I mean, it's a lot of words that I can use to describe her. She's amazing.
Well, I'll give you a second word that you can use.
Phenomenal, for
Why
sure.
do you say that?
She's so nice, so supportive, and just always allowing me to, always telling me opportunities that I can do. Invited me to the NAACP Freedom Fund dinner last year, and just even this, giving me this opportunity to do this. So I'm really grateful to have her. So it'll be phenomenal and mentor.
And what is the one word that you think she would use to describe you?
Ooh, I think she would use the same, phenomenal.
Okay. We'll have to ask her once the show is over with. Mr. Dixon, what's the one word that you would use to describe Dr. Fleming?
I would use, I don't want to say phenomenal again. I want to use something different, but I would definitely say phenomenal. Actually, when she was giving out the scholarships, unfortunately, I didn't make the cut at first, right? So, it was sad, but still talked to her.
But how did that make you feel when you didn't? And then what kept you going to where you wanted to make the next cut?
This is a crazy story. So it was definitely disheartening, because the scholarships were what I needed to attend school, because, my family doesn't come from money. So I really needed these scholarships. But I talked to her, made that connection. And I think a week went by, and she actually had gotten in contact with me and let me know that I had won a scholarship, because someone actually had reached out to her and was like, hey, I want to help somebody out. Do you have somebody in mind? And the first person she thought of was me. And I went down there, received the scholarship, and it was just like, wow, like she had so much faith in me. She could have picked anybody, yet she picked me off that one time we met. I don't know how many people she knows. It seems like she knows a lot of people, but she picked me off just one time and meeting me. And that, to me, I'm very grateful for everything that she's did for me so far. And I'm going to continue to be grateful for her.
So what do you think is the one word that she would use to describe you? Since she went back into her thoughts and her thinking process and thought about you.
I think she would use, I'm not going to say a word, I'm going to say a phrase. I think she would say destined for greatness, right? That's what I think she would say.
Now let me give you an easier question.
Okay.
What's the one word that your mother would use to describe you?
She would use thoughtful. Everything that I do that when it comes to my family is very thoughtful. I got a little brother. I got my mom recently divorced. So anything that I do when it comes to my family, I'm going to be thoughtful about it. I want to put a smile on my mom's face. I want to put a smile on my little brother's face. Anybody I come in contact with, I want them to know that I genuinely care about them as a person, not just as somebody I'm talking to, as a person. So, yeah, I'm very thoughtful when it comes to people.
What would you say?
Probably brilliant. That's what I would think, or just blessed. We were just recently talking about how her research project and mine how it complements each other, and how we're blessed to have our research complement each other. So I would say that.
And now, do you have any persons or person that you, besides Dr. Fleming, that you look up to?
Yes, Jamon Jordan, the official historian of Detroit. I love going to his tours and his lectures. I always look up to him. I look up to him for inspiration as well. I would love for him to mentor me. I love Dr. Deborah Smith Pollard. She's actually a professor at U of M Dearborn. I'm looking forward to taking her class.
She and I used to sing together.
Oh, wow. Yes.
We used to sing together.
She's awesome.
I just spoke to her the other day because one of the Musty Gaines just passed away. The same with Mississippi Mass Choir. And she went and played a tribute at 9 o'clock last Sunday and had told me she was going to dedicate that to me since she knows how much I love the Mississippi Mass Choir. So, but she and I used to sing together. We sang together at Michigan State. So that's another story as well too. But I'll definitely mention to her when I talk to her again that I had you on the show because she was here on this set where you're sitting at. Probably about what it had to be close to about 4 or 5 months ago. You know, she was here. Okay, Mr. Dixon, who do you look up to?
I look up to my mother.
Give a shout out. Give her name.
Linda Sneed. That is my mom. I love her to death. She would do anything for me, and I'd do anything for her. Since you know, early childhood, it hasn't really been good on the father side of things. You know, my dad, he was my real dad. He just was not a good father figure. So she had left him and was a single mother for a minute. She had me. I think I was like 5, and my younger brother, he was a couple months old, and she did everything she could to make sure she provided for us, right? And then now, as you know, recently divorced, she works 2 jobs. She's busting her butt to provide for us, make sure that me and my brother got roof over our head, we got food. Shoot, she even got me here, and she got to work today. So it's like she does a lot to make sure that I'm gonna be as successful as I can. Even when I was a kid and it came to my education, she poured into me. She made sure I was doing advanced stuff. And she would take her time with me to make sure that I was good in school and never was falling behind. And I definitely thank her for all my academic success that I've had over the past couple of years.
Well, you know, give her name again.
Linda Sneed.
Linda Sneed.
Yes.
We're gonna make sure that Linda Sneed. We'll probably invite her to come on the show. And when you go and you become the success that we know you're destined to be, to have the two of you come on the show again. And then I'll bring Dr. Pollard on with you when you come on the show, and we do the same thing. But is there anything, I'm gonna ask you both, looking at the young people in the world today, we're seeing a lot of people that are kind of concerned about not being heard, because I know that's one of the things that we hear about with young people. They're feeling like they're not being heard. What encouragement would you give to young people your age or your age? What would you say to them? Especially when it comes down to respecting the elders. And what I'm loving about what I'm hearing, what you're saying, so we have a young lady here that's in the studio today, and that's our president, R.J. Watkins, his daughter, Ariana, and she's in the nursing field. So I definitely hope that afterwards you can get a chance to talk to her for a minute, and I think she could probably give you some encouragement, you know, in terms, say, in your nursing career that you want, you know, to delve into. But what would you say to a young person, Mr. Dixon?
Young people my age are definitely into the wrong things, I would say. Like, from what I've seen, it's not a lot of, you know, focus or goal-driven people. It's just like they're floating around, right? They're just hoping that somebody will come and save them. And to me, I just need people our age, because I know we are a good group of people. Like, I know we got good ideas and we're trying to change stuff. But if we want to be able to change things and we want to be heard, you need to make yourself, you know, a good candidate to be heard, right? A lot of people that preach about, oh, we're not being heard, or, you know, things just aren't going our way, they're into the wrong things. You know, they're doing drugs, they're worried about women, but they're not worried about going to school, getting an education. You know, they're into being in the streets and stuff. it's just that type of stuff ain't gonna get you heard, right? Now, if you went to school, you get you a degree, now people are gonna listen. Now, I feel like, and then, you know, when it comes to, you know, a racial thing, a person with a degree is definitely gonna be heard more times than not than a person that works at McDonald's. So
why do you think that?
Why do I think that? Because I feel like people like that only listen to people that are successful in their eyes. And for people to be successful in their eyes, it usually comes from them having a degree or a career. Unfortunately to say, McDonald's is not a career. That is just a job. It's a 9 to 5. It gets you paid. Now, a career is something you're working years to get, and you're getting paid that money that you worked for in school, right? So when it comes to you want to be heard by the other side, you need to have some type of success under your belt to be heard. They're only going to listen to what they know, and that's success.
Well, see, one thing, too, when you say that about McDonald's, there are some people that do turn that into a career, but that's usually like a job incubator.
Yeah.
They kind of like it's a startup job
Yeah.
that some people have. Because some become managers, just like, unfortunately, you probably heard about the young lady
Yeah.
who recently got killed that was, you know, by a disgruntled employee that went back to the McDonald's, you know. And this young lady, I think, had been in the career path, you know, at the McDonald's for over 15 years.
Yeah.
But what do you say in terms of Mr. Bowie about young people? What would you suggest?
Just simply put, if you want to be heard, just put yourself out there, tell your stories, tell your perspective. That's pretty much for me.
So now, do you, looking at your peers, looking at the people that you growing up with, I know I asked you about them going to school and going to college and going on to, getting into, other career paths, or just even going to church for that fact. But what would you suggest, or what would the rules be? Because especially when you talk about church, when you're talking about religion, when you're talking about their faith. Because just like how your mother did not lose faith after what happened in terms, say, with your family. Yeah. And then even what she's going through as far as, say, with her, marriage. But I know in your situation, when you're talking about with the religious community, there's a lot of leaders that come from the religious community. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., you're looking at Raphael Warnock, you're looking at a lot of people, Malcolm X, a lot that have had the religious community and then just like we talked earlier, with Corey about with NAACP, you're looking at a lot of religious leaders that have ascended into becoming president of NAACP, as well as just even in the nation, period. But we've got a couple minutes left, so I'm gonna ask you both, is there anything in particular that you would like to say just to close out this segment? I'll go to you first.
I really didn't talk about how my first year at U of M went. It was very great. I finished with a 4.0, made the Dean's List twice. I studied abroad to France.
You say you made it twice?
Yes.
Good job.
Both semesters.
Good job.
I studied abroad to France during spring break with the provost, who is now the chancellor of U of M Dearborn, Provost Scarlatta. Shout out to her. And I won Writers Awards category for a video I made on my experiences growing up in the Black church. I won an award, scholarship, $1,000 scholarship on an essay I did on Cathedral of Faith in Inkster. So I had a very blessed first year.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
All I got to say is not hopefully, I'm going to have a good first year of college so I can have accolades like the two that were right here, and I could come and be like, these are my accolades, such, such, such. So, yeah, that's it.
Well, hopefully when you bring those accolades back, you'll bring those accolades back on Truth to Power and come back on the show again.
I'd love to be here again.
Because the thing is that we see the career paths that you both have chosen, and it's definitely needed. Yeah. We definitely need to see more young people into the churches. We definitely need to see more young people, especially in that helping mode that you're in, with wanting to see. And it's sad that you had to go through the kind of experience in your life, with your little, sibling, to then get into this career path. But just as what Corey was saying too, just helping people in terms of, say, with a wrongful conviction that he had, had witnessed as well. But again, stay strong, stay prayerful, continue to not get discouraged by anything that befalls you. And make certain, too, that you also help to lift someone else up. Because there's people that are looking at you all the time. Your peers, Corey's peers. They're going to be looking at you all the time. And they're watching what you do and listening to what you say. So, again, I want to thank both of you for coming. I want you to come back on the show again and talk about what you've done after your first year. Would love to have you come back on the show again. After you complete, after you're getting ready to go and put that first chapter and pin that first chapter in that book, we'd love to have you.
Okay.
To Corey, to Dr. Fleming, we want to thank everyone for being on the show. This has been a great segment, and we look forward to having you come back again. You've been watching a special edition of Truth to Power, and we look forward to seeing the greatness from these young people that we know they are destined to portray. Again, have a great rest of this afternoon.